In today's video, we're going to be talking about 10 reasons why the B-11 Strikeforce might be one of the worst purchases you can make in Grand Theft Auto Online. So let me preface this by saying this, of course, is just my opinions, and at the end of the day, that's all they are. In fact, I really like this vehicle. There's just a lot of things that Rockstar did wrong with it when they added it into online. It's based off of one of the most iconic, legendary military fighter jets of all time, but there's just a lot of things wrong with it, in my opinion, in Grand Theft Auto Online. So anyways, let's get this thing started, and let's jump into why this is not a great vehicle. And let's start with the armor. You know, for a military jet that's going to be stacking up against other military jets and anti-aircraft weaponry, it actually can't put up with much of a fight in terms of fending itself off. So it actually is kind of disabled with one RPG shot. As you can see here, the engine is smoking a ton. It's barely staying alive. If I were to take this in the air, it would likely sputter out as things went along. So one RPG pretty much disables this jet, with the second one destroying it very, very quickly. So I think that Rockstar didn't give this vehicle enough armor, and again, that was against an RPG. It's going to differ a little bit against homing missiles and explosive sniper rifles, but you get the idea. It doesn't have enough armor as it should, and I think that's one of the biggest downsides of the B-11 Strikeforce is when you compare it to some of the other jets, it just can't stack up. Number two, and this one is so strange, and I don't know why Rockstar has done this, it's the only jet in the game with limited missiles. I don't know if this is like a new thing that Rockstar has decided they wanted to put on their jets, but the B-11 Strikeforce is the only jet that has limited missiles. Not the Hydra, not the Rogue, not the Laser, not the Pyro or the Molotov. None of those have limited missiles, but for whatever reason, the B-11 Strikeforce does. Maybe Rockstar was trying to balance this vehicle. They didn't want it to be too overpowered. I applaud them for making an effort like that, but you can go through 30 missiles really quickly, and then the only way to refill them is to go back to the hangar and basically put it back in and bring it back outside. That's the only way in which you can get that. Now, at least cosmetically, they made it look cool when you did run out of missiles. They don't just have, fake missiles sitting there. When you are out, it does actually look as if you are out. So that is at least a little bit of good news, but it's still a bummer that you can run out of missiles and that you can't use them anymore. At the number 3 spot today, the cannon is so weak. The explosive MG, I had hyped this up so much, and it turns out that the explosive MG is not all that great. So it works okay against NPC vehicles because of the explosive splash damage, but it is really weak against other NPCs and other players on foot. Basically, that explosive MG won't kill you. It's just going to cause you to ragdoll away a little bit. So it is really, really weak. It makes a super special sound that is really reminiscent of the A10 Thunderbolt, but it doesn't perform at all like the real one does. I mean, those explosive MG rounds are just so weak when you compare them to other vehicles and other weapons. So that's another downside of this jet. Another downside of the jet at the number 4 spot today, it has really weak bombs, and it also has a low amount, which is something I was a little bit disappointed in. Like, when I was doing this very simple test or demonstration for this video, I was shocked at, how weak the bombs were when they fell, dropping almost right next to vehicles and people and not seeming to do any damage. But also, number 2, how quickly I ran out of them. I was only able to do maybe 30 seconds of a bombing run, before I was out, and then would have to return to my hangar in order to replenish them. It's kind of the same hole that the Ruiner 2000 fell into, and why you never see it today. It has limited missiles, and you only have a couple of them before you have to return it to its warehouse. That's kind of how the Strikeforce operates. It really runs out of steam quickly, and then you ultimately have to return it before you can utilize it again. Something really unfortunate about the vehicle. The number 5 spot today, this vehicle, or this jet I should say, is supposed to have its own blip on the minimap to let other players know and to indicate to your friends and crew members that, hey, I or this person am in a B-11 Strikeforce. And apparently that doesn't happen. It just has the standard jet icon that all the other old planes in the game have. It's supposed to look like this, like a very unique looking jet. but it does not, which is really, really weird, and I'm not too sure why. Maybe it's a bug, maybe it's a glitch. I don't know if Rockstar can fix this via background scripts or something like that, or if that's going to take a brand new update. If that's the case, who knows when we'll actually see this icon on the minimap, but just know it's supposed to, but it doesn't, which is a little weird. The number 6 spot today, the speed. So I didn't expect this thing to be a world burner in the class of jets, but I did expect it to be a little bit quicker than it is. Now, this vehicle is able to do a little bit better at lower altitudes. Higher altitudes is where this thing really suffers. And I guess that's the nature of this beast. I am definitely not the best military expert or plane or jet enthusiast, but I'm pretty sure this vehicle excels closer to the ground than higher off the ground. And I think Rockstar tried to implement that in GTA 5 when it comes to its speed. But if you try to dogfight another jet at a really high altitude or really anywhere above the ground, you're going to be in trouble with this jet. It's just not going to be able to compete with like the Rogue or the Hydra or the Laser. And again, maybe that's not the speciality of the B-11 Strikeforce, but what is its speciality? A lot of the weapons and armor we've seen so far is not all that great. So does this thing have a real advantage over the other jets in the game? I'm starting to have trouble in figuring that out. But anyways, I just noticed that it's a little bit slower than I originally anticipated. And that's one of the reasons I'm not liking this jet all that much. The number 7 spot today, price. It's expensive. I mean, it doesn't have a trade price or anything like that, but $3.8 million is a lot of money, making it one of the priciest jets in the game, aside from the Laser, which has like a really weird and random $6.5 million price. But yeah, it's expensive, and it's a lot of money to throw into a vehicle that you would want to perform really well. And unfortunately, it just kind of doesn't. So that's something you're going to have to consider. Again, $3.8 million is over 50 US dollars in one vehicle. Because if you think about it, I don't know what it is, but the $3.5 million shark card is $50. I think it's like great white or whale or something like that. So imagine when you buy this, you're literally handing Rockstar like $55 because that's how much it costs. So just, keep that in mind before you end up buying this vehicle. Or if you have bought it, you can now put that mental image in your head of, giving someone $55 for this jet. The number 8 spot today, this vehicle takes a long time to launch. Now, I'm not sure if that's the right terminology, but when you're getting into this jet for the first time, number 1, our character does some like weird workaround in terms of getting in. Instead of just like hopping in the seat, he's got to like go around. It just takes a long time. And then number 2, once you are in the seat and you've fired up the engines, there's a downtime of about 5 seconds before you can even accelerate or move. And I don't know if that's done on purpose, but if you're fighting other players, that like 10 to 15 second sequence of getting into the jet could be the difference between you living and you dying. And so this vehicle just takes a long time to sort of launch and get off the ground, which to me it seemed a little bit longer than other jets. I certainly haven't done that test because it's really something I only noticed the more I used it, but it might be something that either saves your life or doesn't save your life. And in the case of the Strikeforce, it's something that might cost you a life. So just keep that in mind with this vehicle. The number 9 spot today, copy-pasted liveries. So the liveries are not unique at all. They're just different faces, like snake, bunny, hog, stuff like that. And then the other ones are just camo pattern ones. I was really hoping for some cool liveries on here, maybe some military designs, an American flag theme one. That would be amazing. It really just seems Rockstar missed the ball with these liveries because some of the planes and jets they have, like the Sea Breeze, unbelievable livery, so cool. This one, not so much. Maybe they were trying to go for that fighter jet vibe. I really don't know, but it just seems like they missed the mark with the liveries, which is the real only unique customization that you can do on this jet. And at the number 10 spot today, I found this one pretty interesting. This vehicle has 2 fake engines. So obviously you see those engines on the back. Well, that's not how the Strikeforce works in game. There's like a fake engine inside of the jet, which is so strange. So I'm not sure why Rockstar did this, if they were looking to take a shortcut or something like that, save time, who really knows. But it would have been nice to have seen them actually use the unique engine design and layout of the B-11 Strikeforce rather than just sort of simply putting one on the inside that almost doesn't act as if it operates at all. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that, and I feel like there's just a lot of little things wrong for this jet, especially at the end of the day when you're paying $3.8 million for it. But as always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about the B-11 Strikeforce. Do you like this vehicle? Do you dislike this vehicle? Do you think it's one of the most overrated ones we've seen in the game? Let me know your thoughts, opinions more in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.